Radha Kumar. I'm a policy analyst and a writer, and I work on ethnic conflicts and peace processes. And I'm a board member of SIPRI. Well, Afghanistan is an obvious one. It's been ongoing for such a long time, and it's getting worse again. I'm an Indian, so obviously India and Pakistan and Kashmir are of great concern to me. But we also have many ungoverned and lawless areas in our country, including what's called the problem of left-wing extremism, which again is a grave concern. Internationally, I would say that I also worry about areas which have been frozen in a moment of peace. You take Bosnia, for example. The peace agreement, which included a kind of de facto partition, was successful in ending the war, but Bosnia has been frozen ever since. It has not succeeded either in reintegrating or in forming a more liberal order, even in the partitioned parts. And that is a very serious concern, because with all that international attention, activity, funding, to see a country that remains frozen, almost 15 years later, it's really very disheartening. I think the real problem has been, since the end of the Cold War, peacemakers internationally had a lot more hope and a lot more confidence. But unfortunately, then they tried to roll everything into one. So your ceasefire agreement also included your new constitution. That's what happened in Bosnia. And of course, the constitution was based on perhaps the need for the ceasefire, which meant that it was the warmongers who got to frame that constitution more than the institution builders or the stabilizers. And you look at Afghanistan, it started in many ways with the same mistake. They made a constitution at the same time as they sent international troops in. They had elections. Generally, it's never very helpful to have elections in a conflict situation, because it's always the warmongers who'll win that election. For quite understandable reasons, people are afraid. So they go to the guy who seems to say, I represent this ethnicity's interest. And in Afghanistan, I think there were a couple of good things. The constitution was far more liberal and flexible than the Bosnian constitution. But then making it work became so difficult, because you've got so many areas where there's no governance presence at all. And who are the people who are supposed to kind of be your administrators? They're members of international security forces. And, you know, with all due deference, a soldier is not the best person to administer what is meant to be a democratic society. So, especially not a foreign soldier. So you have huge problems. Then you have the whole cross-border problem. When neighbors are involved or regional powers are involved, they will always be involved from the point of view of their interest. And then you're allowing them to have a greater role. Afghanistan is a classic case. Pakistan becomes the veto power in Afghanistan. That is really a terrible situation. In both Bosnia and Afghanistan, the aspiration for democracy was so strong. You couldn't help but be not just hopeful, but enormously moved by it. And then the challenge was, how do you give enough space and power to the Democrats as against the others? We haven't solved that one, alas.